Hello, Bad-Tempered Badger here. Recently, I've been watching quite a few live streams, debates, discussions, arguments, and other interactions between believers and non-believers. Good and bad ideas have been raised by both, but there is always a fundamental divide that, like an AIDS diagnosis at an orgy, tends to bring everything to a grinding halt. It doesn't always go the same way. Sometimes someone takes offence. Sometimes everyone talks across each other. Sometimes they just agree to disagree. So far, I have never seen the gap successfully bridged. The cause of this misunderstanding is simple. Generally speaking, theists and atheists look at the world in a fundamentally opposite, upside down, and incompatible way.
Wait a minute, I don't understand.
Well, if I was to go to the toilet, you know,
yes.
I mean, how did we evolve with the ability to release waste if we were waiting for certain organs to develop?
Well, no, it's not really like that.
I know it's a simple question, but I'm a simple man.
I mean, you don't wait millions of years. It all happens. There's a continual improvement going on all the time, continual changing. I mean, the way things work is different now from the way it used to be. I mean, I tried to give you a rather detailed exposition of the eye, and you switched to something else. I mean, did you find that convincing, what I said about the eye?
Well, not really. Let me tell you what happened in my brain at that particular moment in time was that I was thinking of the book of Genesis, and where God says that he made everything according to its kind, and that it was, and we stayed within those groups, and we didn't evolve quite simply.
Let me get this right, because what you're saying is that the book of Genesis, it takes precedence over science. You're saying that a book that was written when, about 800 BC, written by whom? By some scribe during the Babylonian captivity. Why would you believe?
Goes back.
Many theists perceive a top-down reality, where the world, as it exists now, was always the goal. They see design in everything, from the smallest microorganism to the Earth itself. Discussing how the world came to be is, in this way of looking at it, irrelevant. There is no point trying to convince them of, for example, evolution, as even if they were to accept it, they would take it to mean whatever being set it all in motion had it all planned. The gap is one of purpose. To the theist, everything has purpose. Everything was created and planned, and everything is as intended.
It is purpose that created us, purpose that connects us, purpose that pulls us, that guides, that drives us. It is purpose that defines, purpose that binds us.
They see the world as a deliberately constructed playground for humanity. This, of course, opposes the bottom-up view presented by science. We use the available evidence to form a model of reality from the ground up. Every complex theory built on basic understanding of reality constructed over centuries, each layer challenged and revisited in a self-correcting system. The theist worldview is diametrically opposed, requiring a creator because, from a top-down perspective, assuming the current universe was the goal, everything appears far too complex to have occurred by chance. Believers appeal to authority constantly because, for them, the world does not and cannot make sense without it.
So, as everything dies in the wintertime or fall, and then it comes back alive in the spring and summer. Now, isn't that a sign of God's will in the Bible?
I'm telling you God exists. I believe God exists because I can see it in creation. I can see it all around me. I don't have to quote the Bible to tell you God exists, because I know God exists through natural senses. Although God is metaphysical, God is pure spirit, I know God exists based on human reason alone.
So the justification begins, as every possible gap in humanity's knowledge is filled with God-shaped glue, plugging the holes of a sinking ship as waves of new understanding and cultural change crash over its bow.
That is where the solution is the hinges on the door, the beginning points of the universe. You have to rationalize outside of the universe since it began to exist. And every atheist does not do that. And if you do, what is your argument? Outside.
Many theists abandoning this perspective is unthinkable. It would be like being thrust into the total perspective vortex and having one's brain fried by the enormity of the universe. The idea that humanity is not the most important species in the cosmos, or even on the Earth, is not one they are prepared to entertain. This is the mental gap that kills discussion. The only method I have seen with any hope of getting around it is very long-term, slowly guiding someone past their preconceived notions, delicately presenting ideas, flaws in their position, and better alternatives. It is very time-consuming, tiring, and often fruitless. If anyone has a better idea, please let me know. Thanks for watching.